Hello, art historians, and congratulations on making it through week one of our course together. So, I wanted to post a video kind of like summarizing what we talked about and sort of clarifying so many questions, anything on the quiz that anybody may have struggled with, and kind of just like wrap up week one. So let's start first by taking a look at our discussion. Every week when I summarize, I will be kind of calling out to some of you in class who had some just really good responses. So if you don't hear your name this time, stay tuned. But we were talking about like why, before we even begin to learn about art history, is it so important? And a lot of you had some really great thoughts in regards to this question. So first I want to start with Kim. She said that she wants to see life through someone else's eyes. And I think that is a really interesting way of framing that perspective. Art and history go very hand in hand together because as a result of history, we make art. And so these people are living these experiences that we might today never be able to fully understand or experience ourselves. And so to be able to live through the visual representation created by someone else gives us an insight into that experience. So I totally agree with that, Kim. Amy B. wrote that studying art and art history is a way to connect with others, despite income, education, religion, or any political affiliations. And I think that's really perfect. Having this connection with art, I mean, you can come from anywhere and make art. As you can clearly see, I mean, the Byzantine Empire stretched quite far across the globe, and extended its influence very far as well. And so the fact that we've got all of these people from all of these different walks of life creating these types of artworks really just shows that anybody can be a part of art and art history in terms of making it, studying it, understanding it, etc. Chris D., he wrote that it is interesting to look at different stories that a piece of art is trying to tell. And I have to admit, that's my favorite part about art history, the story that goes behind what we're looking at today. Oftentimes, like I said, we don't really know exactly what happened. We weren't there, but the artwork is there to tell us a story. So rather than your traditional history class where maybe you're learning dates, writing down notes, that lack of connection to a visual component sort of makes it a little hard to make that connection as yourself. But art tells a story, and so now we can find a way to create that meaningful connection with the content, which I also, just my favorite part, telling the stories of art history. Life doesn't get better. Then we have Carson J., and he wrote that understanding of art history and it helps him grow as a person and find more enjoyment and understanding in the world around him. And I think that's totally true. There are so many cultures and routines and different ways of life that everybody across the globe lives and just goes through and experiences. And so the fact that art can really connect us all in that way around the globe is so special. And last but not least, I want to compliment Mary Beth S. in detailing about how art can shift her emotions. And that is so true. I mean, art can be emotional for anybody, anywhere, any age, anything, which is really amazing. What is emotional for me and might shift my emotions might not be emotional for somebody else. But the fact that we can all come together and appreciate the end result is really, really special. I mean, to be completely frank with you all, I can be a very emotional person, and art really moves something in me, probably why I like the subject so much. For my winter break last year, my family and I did Christmas in Italy. So we spent about 4 days in Rome and 4 days in Florence. And I went to the Pantheon on Christmas Eve for a midnight candlelit Latin Mass. And I mean, that building itself could make me cry, but just sitting in that atmosphere with the sounds and the structure of the ceiling above me and the light like twinkling and oh gosh, it was so beautiful. I think I cried for about a half an hour straight. So that shift in emotions is like really, really magical. And again, another favorite aspect of mine in regards to art history. So great job on the discussion this week, folks. It was really wonderful to read your insights. And I hope you know that it is so special to me how much effort and energy you put into all of this. So I really, really appreciate it. And it is noted. I will continue to feature some of your words throughout the rest of the course that we have together. So stay tuned, like I said. So now let's talk really quick about some clarification things. First and foremost, I sent an announcement out about those self-guided explorations with that template. If you already submitted things, you don't have to worry about it, but that template just makes life a little bit easier, both in clarifying for you in regards to what you've accomplished, what points, what resources, etc., and for me as the grader. So this kind of makes it just easy across the board, and I hope that makes it simpler. The second thing is that I have reformatted the notes sheet. I have gotten a lot of emails from many students in both of my classes that I'm teaching this semester that it's just really cumbersome and not super easy to work with. So I worked with the tech team at the high school I work at today to come up with a solution, and my main tech manager said that a PDF that has boxes that are able to be edited would be a really easy format that would work on any device that you might be using, whether it be an iPad, a PC, a Mac, etc., etc. So I've linked that down below as well. If you want to use that format going forward, I encourage you to. If you've already figured out your method for note-taking, keep doing what you're doing. There is no requirement to use this note sheet. I just want to provide it for those who are maybe struggling in regards to the format. So that's there for you. And now let's talk about some quizzes and maybe some answers that I can help clarify in regards to the multiple choice questions and the expectations for those short answers. So first, as you noticed, there were 2 quizzes this week. Going forward, there is not going to be 2. So you did more work this week, but those points will just accrue. So it's really no work or time lost because you'll eventually want to be earning those points anyway. But you should know going forward, this will not be the case. So let's talk about the quiz titled Module 2. And what we're seeing here, first and foremost, I want to congratulate those who did take the quiz. 100% of you knew that the vocabulary term Theotokos means Mother of God when we consider Mary. So awesome, 100%. That's really, really great. And it was really, I don't know, kind of warmed my heart to see that. So I appreciate that a lot. Great job, guys. And now the next thing I want to talk about was a question that some people might have gotten wrong in regards to the styles that are incorporated in the Basilica of St. Mark that is in Venice. And so the correct answer for that was Byzantine, Islamic, and Western Europe. And so the reason that it's Byzantine is, well, I mean, kind of a given. It's a chapter on Byzantine. That's the unit we're working in right now, so that totally makes sense. But even so, the fact that it has a dome, it's got marble, these are all Byzantine things that we see being used consistently. Now, the Islamic features come from the columns, it's part of the capitals, and the mosaics. If you look at Islamic art, they are all about mosaics, and it is stunning. Highly recommend you check it out. And last but not least, we have Western Europe. And so those Western European features include iconography, like of saints and religious figures. We've also got the inclusion of Romanesque and Gothic architecture being incorporated there, which was moving quickly across Western Europe as well prior to that introduction. So that hopefully will clarify that question for you. The second thing I want to talk about are 2 questions that I noticed from the other quiz. So this quiz is titled Quiz to Byzantium 2. And so the first one was the response concerning the Chora Monastery. The reason that it is so connected to emotion is because of the way that the artist has used space and perspective to kind of create that dynamism or that movement within the artwork. Then we have the very vivid expressions of the figures in the monastery that are being shown. We've got a really wonderful use of light and color, which enhances that emotional state. And then last but not least, we have the integration of these works within the architecture itself. And that is just like peak Byzantine tradition. So that's all the reasons why that response was correct for that multiple choice question. And I also noticed that some of you might have gotten tripped up on the definition of the word spolia. Spolia is something that has been used throughout time. I mean, there is one of the very first Christian churches and basilicas that is built right on top of a previous Roman temple to Juno. And so when they did that, they used the columns that used to be a part of the temple in the design of the basilica. And that reuse is called spolia. Sometimes it's not exact, and sometimes things are flipped around or kind of weird, but that reusing of that material is what we call that concept of spolia. It's been used in the ancient Aegean, prior to ancient Greece. It's still used. So that is a really important term. So definitely make sure you double check your definitions on that. Now, the next thing I want to discuss is the short answer responses. So on some of yours, I might have wrote that you need more information. So when you're responding to that short answer response, again, as you see, I would really prefer paragraphs, not bulleted points. Let's get in the habit of like writing in full sentences about art history. It's a really important, I guess, technique or process within art historical study and understanding and discussion. Also shoot for maybe like 4 to 5 sentences, or at least just make sure you answer the question fully. I noticed that some of you might have gotten cut off. Some of you might have not gotten to that question, or maybe just didn't fully answer the question, and I'm not sure if that's related to confusion or timing. So if it's confusion, just really make sure you're reading through that question. You can even have a piece of paper next to you. Make note of the things that you have to answer, so that way you make sure you can accomplish all of those questions as part of the short answer, and that way you can get full points. Also, these quizzes are timed, so please leave yourself enough time. I really do look forward to reading what you analyze and think about these works of art and demonstrating what you've learned. So make sure that you're using your time wisely and just budget appropriately. Regardless, you should only have one quiz going forward each module. So the other thing that we should really think about this week is that the pace of this class is obviously moving quite quickly, so please don't fall behind. I've finished grading everything for week 1, so I'm going to get started on week 2 as soon as I have the chance. The Byzantine era is a really important one. A lot of really strong leaders are creating lasting legacies with their image and artwork and their connection to religion. So I hope you enjoyed learning about this all this week. I've got all of the documents attached in the announcement that I'll post this video with. So if you have any questions, never hesitate to reach out. kcarpino@lindenwood.edu, and I will see you all very soon for a summary of week 2. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you have found a really kind of nice approach to this college course with the Choose Your Own Adventure. I hope it's making a lot more sense for everybody at this point as we've moved through week 1. But if you ever need clarification, I am here. So thank you so much, folks, and I appreciate everything you've done so far, and I look forward to seeing all the work to come. Bye!